guys, I am Aaron, and I'm going to be teaching you how to use Reason 5.0. My purpose in these tutorials is to provide a education that is not like super technical or advanced for people who have absolutely no prior experience to electronic music at all. I know that when I was starting out with Reason, I found it very difficult to find any tutorials that were useful for someone with no experience. A lot of them were geared more toward people who have already used a lot of digital audio workstations and have done a lot of audio engineering and had already been making electronic music and were simply using a new program to them. I am going to teach it as though you have no idea what's going on, like I did when I was starting out. So, without further ado, I would like you to open up Reason. Okay, first of all, you're going to be greeted with a very daunting array of buttons, knobs, sliders, etc. You don't need to worry about any of this right now. I wish I had known that when I started out, but to make music, and to make music that sounds good, you don't actually have to know what any of this does right away. That will come later with experience. Most important thing you need to know is obviously the play button is down here. The first thing that should come up is the demo song. So, since the demo song is up, press play and you can listen to it. Fun, huh? Over here you have the tempo, the time signature. This is the time position, meaning the time position in the song. So like if I press play, you can see it going. Double click stop to take it back to the beginning. Press stop once to stop it in the position that it's at. Right here you see L and R. That stands for left and right, which makes sense because it's on the left and the right. The E is the end position for the song. Left and right is the loop parameter, and that states where the loop starts and ends. So if you want to loop a section of a song, like say I just want to listen to the first couple measures as I'm working on it, you would click on this and make sure the blue light is on for loop. Alternatively, you can press the L key on your computer keyboard and press play. And as you see, once it gets to R, it's just going to right back to L. Okay? So, now that you know how to play a song, go to File, New. That will start a new document so that you can make your own song. Go ahead and exit out of the demo song because you're not going to need that for any reason unless you just want to dance to it. First time setup, you should go to Edit, then Preferences. Now if you were not hearing the demo song, go ahead and go to Audio and select the card driver that works for you. If you don't know what your card driver is, I'm just going to ask you, unfortunately, to go through every single one until sound is coming out of Reason, which means you'll need to open up the demo song and just keep playing it and going through this until you can hear it. Okay? But you shouldn't really have to worry about that because most of the time it can detect your driver automatically. If you have a MIDI keyboard, then go ahead and go to Keyboards and Control Surfaces. This will be a blank box. If you have a popular brand of MIDI keyboard, press Auto Detect Surfaces and it's going to automatically find which keyboard you have, where it's plugged into your computer, and you won't need any further setup and you'll be ready to play any instrument. But that's most likely not the case. So click on Add where it says Manufacturer. Find the brand of your keyboard. If it's not on there or you don't know what it is, that's fine. Just click on Other. Now where it says Model, I want you to click on MIDI keyboard with no controls. Don't worry about the other options right now, just click on that. You can go ahead and name it if you want, but that's not too important, especially if you only have one keyboard, it's not going to matter at all. For the MIDI input, you are going to select, there should only be one for you, but if there's two and you don't know which it is, hit find, and it'll ask you to press a key on the control surface. So just press a bunch of keys on the keyboard and it's going to find it for you. Once you're done with that and you have selected that, you can press OK and it'll be working, but you won't hear any sound when you hit the keys. That's because you don't have an instrument. Now, like I said, you don't need to worry about any of this. That's not how you make music in this program. Press F8 and you will be greeted with lots and lots of instruments. They are sorted pretty nicely into synthesizers, samplers, and percussion instruments at the bottom. Then you go into effects and whatnot, but we're not going to worry about that right now. If you want to make sound, click one that you like. Synthesizers are electronic instruments, obviously. A sampler takes a bunch of different audio clips and puts them together into an instrument. This is how you would make a acoustic piano. What it does is it takes a bunch of different key hits recorded as separate audio files, like a C note and a D note and an E note, all as separate audio files, and maps it to your keyboard so that you're actually playing a piano. So if you want a real instrument, click these samplers. If you want a synthesizer, click the synthesizers. It's very easy. A lot of them are very confusing because there's a ton of different stuff on them and it's really daunting at first. But don't worry about anything that's on here. All you have to do is click on this little Browse Patch button and it'll take you to this thing right here, and these are all basses. So if you don't want a bass, go ahead and go to Reason Factory Sound Bank, and since you clicked on the Subtractor Synthesizer, click on Subtractor Patches. Then you've got all these subcategories to go through, and you just pick one you want. And if you have a MIDI keyboard, just click on it once and you can play it on your keyboard. You don't really have to double click it, then go back to the Browse Patch to go through all the different ones to find one you like. All you have to do is press the down arrow key or the up arrow key to go through all of them and play it as you go through them. And then just double click or press OK when you find one that you like. And there are two ways to actually make a song with a sound that you want. One way is to press record and just record yourself playing. If you need help with timing, there's a little click, pre, and click level stuff over here. What those do are the click is a metronome, so when you press play or record, you have a metronome to keep your timing. Pre is a pre-count, so that it gives you one measure before it actually starts recording, okay? So when you press record, does one measure, then it actually starts recording. That gives you time to prepare yourself. And down here you have click level. This is the volume of the metronome. It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay? So that's all you really need to know to make sound. If for some reason you loaded up an instrument and it did not make any sound when you started playing it, make sure that your speakers are on. If that's not the problem, maybe you double-clicked the instrument and it put it up here above the mixer and it's not making any sound. This is pretty common. To avoid doing this, make sure that you have this blue highlight around the mixer before you click on an instrument. Just double-click it and it'll auto-connect it. If you, for some reason, did this right here and it's not making any sound, you can either delete it and start over and just make sure that it's underneath it this time, or you can press Tab, drag the synthesizer under the mixer, then connect the output into the input like so. If that's too scary for you, just delete it and start over until it's connected to the mixer. Sound good? Alright, so before you get any further, I want you to just practice with drawing on your sequencer or recording. To draw on your sequencer, just do that with the pencil tool, which you do by pressing the W key on your computer keyboard or pressing this pencil tool. Then you can select the selection tool or Q on your computer keyboard and selecting the selection that you made. This is really, really small right here. So what I want you to do is zoom in so that all these measures up here, those are quarter notes. That doesn't give you a lot of space to write in. So once you zoom in, make sure that the little notches go into 16th notes, which are the little guys in between the quarter notes right here. So this is measure 1, measure 2, measure 3. Does that make sense to you? Good. So you can then take the writing tool and draw notes. Then you can click play to play back what you wrote. And go ahead and turn the metronome off. So that works out nicely. So just go ahead and practice making music and just drawing notes. Don't get too technical. Just draw notes. Start with just one instrument at a time and have fun with that. Go ahead until you're comfortable with just making noise come out of reason before you go on to the next lesson. Sound good? All right.